Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans. This is Jake.
This is Ryan, and this is our recap of the Hatsu 2026 Banzuke. It came out a week ago, but we're still releasing the episode at the same time we always release it. It's not our damn fault that the JSA decides to release the Banzuke over the
Yeah.
busiest family time of the year, and I'm not going to change my schedule just because they did. So
Can I whine just a little bit?
absolutely.
The Banzuke episodes are also the only episodes that rely exclusively on the two members of GSB that have children. So
Yes.
especially around Christmas, yeah, we're a little behind.
Yeah. And once again, we're doing this when we normally would. So it's really on the JSA for putting the Banzuke out a week early. And, Jake did a little bit of whining there. I'm going to be whining throughout the rest of this.
Oh man, my kids don't know what they're in for. I'm going to keep whining. Oh man, they are first Christmas with two children. You bet I got more in the chamber on that,
I'm sure.
topic.
I'm sure. Very
anyways.
happy that we stopped at one. That's plenty. That's more than enough.
I'm going to live vicariously for the next 18 years through you having one child.
All right. Let's stop complaining about our kids. There is a chance that one day they listen back to this and probably don't want us insulting them too much. I don't know why they would choose this episode in particular, but hey, there's a chance.
If I raise them right, they'll enjoy it.
Riley does enjoy doing some sumo with me. She's got the Chidi Chozu down pretty damn well.
No, so. I mean making fun of them.
Oh, yeah. Fair. That's it.
I think we're both onto something there. If our children are raised right, they'll know sumo and can laugh at themselves when I relentlessly whine about Christmas being the least relaxing Christmas of my life.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Banzuke. No complaints in the Sanyaku. At the top, as we knew we were going to have, Hoshoryu moves over from Yokozuna West to Yokozuna East, having had a better record than Onosato. Onosato sliding into Yokozuna West, coming off of that injury. TBD on if we see him in January. Hopefully we do, and if we do, he will be fighting as Yokozuna West. At Ozeki, we've got Koto Sakura on the east side. He was a stalwart there throughout the entirety of the past year. Well, no, I guess Onosato would have been Ozeki East for a fair bit in there as well. But for the last half of the year, it was just Koto Sakura, and he's finally got some company. Somebody none of us would have predicted at the beginning of 2025. I'm thinking ahead. We're about to do our 2026 year-long predictions, and none of us would have said Awanishiki Ozeki by the time we start off 2026, because Awanishiki was still a Juryo at this time last year, but here he is at
Barely heard his name.
Ozeki. Yeah, exactly. At his career high ranking coming off of that Yusho in the previous Basho. Moving on down to Sekiwake. Oh, yes, Jake.
Real quick note, we mention it every now and then, but it's the first time in a while, well, I guess since Onosato. If you're a new Ozeki or a new Yokozuna, you are the last ranked of that rank. Yep. So that's why Aonishiki, even though he had a better record than Koto Sakura, he ends up on the west side.
Absolutely. Then at Sekiwake on the east side, we do have Kirishima after his 11-4 record from Maegashira 2. He's rising up the 3 ranks there. He is jumping ahead of Takayasu, who was Komusubi in the previous Basho, ended up with an 8-7 record. So we do see that Kirishima's 11 wins compared to Takayasu's 8 was enough for him to leapfrog over Takayasu, despite the fact that Takayasu was in the Sanyaku in the previous Basho, while Kirishima was not. Moving down to Komusubi, we've got Oho dropping down from Sekiwake West to Komusubi East after a 7-8 record, and we have Wakamoto Haru rising up 2 ranks after an 8-7 record. Basically, he was the only option to go at Komusubi, so he ends up getting a little bit of a lucky break going up to Komusubi after an 8-7 from Maegashira 2. So all that's fine. We're all good. if you're watching on YouTube, this is the first one of these that we watched. You can see we're revealing the Banzuke as we go, and anybody that has a white background to their name means that I perfectly predicted that record. And then if you start to see
what's it going to look like next? Like, what does it look like when you get somebody wrong?
Splashes of color coming in. Hopefully there's not too many if I do a good job. Then that's going to mean that I got them wrong. If they're green, it means they're ranked higher than what I predicted. If they're red, it means they're ranked lower than what I predicted. And the deeper the shade of the green or red means the more severe of a miss that we have. And I will say that we're going to have probably the deepest shade of green that we've ever had on one of these episodes.
Speaking of what,
we'll get there. We're not quite there yet.
Oh, it's not right away. Okay. I know you got our next one wrong, but we'll see what comes later then.
I did get the next 6 people wrong. Cool. So I didn't do a good job on this one, Jake.
Let's find out what it looks like when Ryan gets it wrong.
So at Maegashira 1 on the east side, we have Ichiyamamoto rising up 7 ranks after an 11-4 record from Maegashira 8. This is going to be, I believe, the career high ranking for Ichiyamamoto. Never seen Maegashira 1 for him before. After that, we're going to have another Rikishi with a career high rank. This is going to be Yoshino Fuji on the west-hand side of the Maegashira 1 ranking. He is rising up 4 ranks after a 9-6 record from Maegashira 5. Had a very good basho where he was able to take down Onosato and Aonishiki, picked up a technique prize. So Yoshino Fuji, very close to breaking into the Sanyaku ranks.
Yeah, these guys both, real quick, they're both at their highest rank by a lot. Ichiyamamoto's previous high was 4. Yoshino Fuji, back when he was Kusuno, never mind.
No, his last one would have been his highest one, yeah.
Yeah, at 5. So, these guys are both jumping 3-4 ranks to better than they've ever done before.
Yep. Maegashira 2, we've got Ura rising up 1 rank after an 8-7 record from Maegashira 3, and joining him on the west-hand side is Wakataka Kage, dropping down 1 rank after a 7-8 record. So basically what happened on my prediction here is I thought Wakataka Kage, Ura, Yoshino Fuji would get some form of joy bias and kind of stay ahead of Ichiyamamoto, despite Ichiyamamoto deserving to be 1 rank ahead of them. Didn't happen. So Ichiyamamoto ends up ahead. That's what the math would have said. So if I'd followed the math, would have gotten that exactly correct. I'm not sure if I had that on my first draft or not. I might have always had Ichiyamamoto kind of behind those guys. We're going to get to a section where I would have done significantly better if I had just stayed put with my first draft. So we'll cover that when we get there. I'm not sure if this is one of those spots.
In the interest of being the snarky co-host, I let it go the first time you said west hand side, but then you said it again almost immediately after. Yeah.
What am I doing?
I don't know, man. You're thrown off by your performance here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of used to these performances after the past year, so honestly, not really.
You're in your third.
I'm in my
your career here.
It was just the week of Christmas mode, and I'm like, work is still slow, so I'm still not really back in the full swing of things yet.
Buddy, my house is immaculate. Work is so slow. I finished all the chores. I finished most of the work I needed to do today by like 9. Man, this 1 week in between Christmas and New Year's, excellent. It's probably the best week of the white collar year, in my opinion.
I do agree.
God, I love it.
The 2 weeks, because like
right,
Christmas, even the week leading up to Christmas is still pretty. People don't need us to talk about this. At Maegashira 3, this is something that I kind of noticed on the preview episode. I'm like, oh wait, am I going to miss this? And I did mess it up.
Sure
so at Maegashira 3 on the east side, we have Takanosho dropping 3 ranks after a 5-10 record from Komosubi, and that puts him ahead of Haku no Fuji. Who the hell is Haku no Fuji? Haku Oho has a new Shikona, as he was originally recruited by Miyagino Oyakata, the former Hakuho. He was given the Shikona of Haku Oho, and now that stable was absorbed by Isegahama, and Hakuho is now retired from the sport. He's not coming back. Hakuoho is firmly entrenched in the Isegahama Bea. They have given him a new Shikona to represent that he is in the Isegahama Bea, giving him the Fuji. So he is Haku no Fuji now. The Haku remains the same, kind of as still a tribute to Hakuho, the original Oyakata who recruited him to Pro Sumo.
Yeah, he's one of 8 guys that picked up a Fuji in their Shikona this year, or this Basho.
Yeah. And I think a lot of them are going to be the recruits from
Right, exactly.
the Miyagi no Bea that were absorbed in Isegahama. But one exception to that is Enho. Enho felt very strongly that he wanted to keep his Shikona. He wanted to keep the Ho in his name, and Isegahama Oyakata granted him that wish. What are you smirking at, Jake?
I don't know. You can't. Again, I can't play the snarky co-host and not sit here and ignore when you say he wanted to keep the Ho.
Yeah,
come on, man. I'm a little bit heartbroken that some of the guys that don't have their old Hakuho names, Tenshoho, Matsui, Senshoho. There's a lot of Hos in there that are now Fujis.
Yeah.
And I'm most heartbroken about a guy who used to go by Sei Hakuho.
Oh yeah. Is it now Sei Teru no Fuji?
It's not. It's Toshi no Fuji. Sei Teru no Fuji. That'd be great. We could keep the same stupid airplane style riff going.
Yeah.
But now what am I going to do? I can't just say Hakuho.
Hakuho.
Thank you. All right. One time for old time's sake.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I messed this one up. Takanosho was dropping out of the Komusubi ranks. He deserved to be 1 rank behind Haku no Fuji. I figured since Haku no Fuji was just 1 rank below Takanosho, that there's no way that they'd still put Takanosho ahead of him despite having a worse record and deserving to be below him. But no, they did. So I need to remember for next. This one was what I'm mad about this Basho is this Banzuke was such an not easily, but I knew the path to a good prediction. I just veered left when I should have veered right on a lot of these things. So yeah, Takanosho, Maegashira 3 East, dropping 5 ranks. Haku no Fuji, Maegashira 3 West, dropping 2 ranks after a 6-9 record. Moving on to Maegashira 4, we've got Daisho rising up 6 ranks after a 10-5 record. We also have Atami Fuji. He is rising up 2 ranks after an 8-7 record from Maegashira 6. So those guys getting a little bit of a bump up the Banzuke, and then Tamawashi is going to be at Maegashira 5 on the east side, dropping down 1 rank after a 7-8 record. This was another group. All 3 of these guys deserve to have the same rank, and it was another situation. Are we going to give a little bit of joy bias to Tamawashi to stay ahead of Atami Fuji or Daisho here? Because he was in the joy, the others were not. Typically, we see some joy bias. I decided not to give any joy bias in this situation. Don't know why I did in this situation and not with Ichi Yamamoto before. And this time it worked out. So we could see both of those scenarios, the like Maegashira 8, Maegashira 10 level Rikshi, they're going ahead of these Joy Rikshi here. They're not really kind of getting any bias against them that we may have seen in some previous Banzukes. Maegashira 5 on the west side. Jake, this is the one where I told you this is Chura no Umi. No doubt about it in my mind. There's no way that it's not going to be Chura no Umi. And then it's Chura no Umi at Maegashira 5 West. There was no way that it wasn't going to be Chura no Umi. That was...
You're really building that one up.
Yeah. I just want to let you know, when I know for sure somebody's going to be there, damn it, I'm right. There's least, like 1 or 2 guys every Banzuke where it's just like, there's just no other way this is going to happen. That was Chura no Umi on this one, which was really nice on this Banzuke where there's just so many choices to be made at every other level. It was really nice to have Chura no Umi rising up 2 ranks after an 8-7 record and having there be absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah, it feels like the Anchorman joke of 60% of the time you're right every time. That joke's just low hanging fruit right now. But yeah, it was the 60% this time.
No, this one was always 100%. It was always going to be Chura no Umi.
Exactly. The 60% of the time, it is right every time. Are we relitigating a joke from like 2003 here?
You're making me angry, and I'm moving on.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't we go on from here?
At Maegashira 6, we're going to be starting a bit of a trend on this Banzuke, where on the east side, we got Hira de Umi, who had a 4-11 record from Maegashira 3, getting a very generous demotion of only 3 ranks after that 4-11 record. The 4-11 record comes with an expected drop of 7 ranks, so he's getting a 4-rank under demotion here for Hira de Umi. We were in a tight situation where there wasn't really a whole lot of options. It was either put Hira de Umi here or put Fuji no Kawa here and give him like a 6-rank promotion after a 9-6 record for Maegashira 12. And we know that the Banzuke committee really hates double-digit Maegashira recently. So figured they weren't going to do that. So Hira de Umi getting a really soft demotion here. Maegashira 6 on the west hand. Oh my God, I did it again. On the west side, we've got Onokatsu staying put. This is another little bit of a trend with this part of the Banzuke. This section of the Banzuke is eerily similar to this section of the Banzuke of the previous Banzuke, where we're going to have a lot of people dropping out from the Joy that are getting soft landings, and we're going to get a lot of Rikishi with 7 and 8 records that are just going to be staying put, using them as band-aids to further prevent any further under demotions or over promotions. So Onokatsu, our first guy that fills that role. He was Maegashira 6 West last time with a 7 and 8 record. He's going to be Maegashira 6 West this time as well.
Makes sense.
Then we get to Maegashira 7. On the east side, the trend continues. We had Oshoma, who went 4-11 from Maegashira 4. He's getting a 3-rank or 4-rank under promotion, only dropping 3 ranks after that 4-11 record. And then I am going to be making Oshoma a Luck of the Banzuke candidate. Not Hira de Umi, but Oshoma is our first Luck of the Banzuke candidate on this Banzuke, and I'll get to why in a moment, because on the west side, we have Fuji no Kawa, who is going to be at his career high rank of Maegashira 7 West, rising up 5 ranks after a 9-6 record. And Fuji no Kawa, is going to be the snub of the Banzuke on the other side of Oshoma's Luck of the Banzuke coin. And the reason I'm making Oshoma a Luck of the Banzuke candidate is we've seen a lot recently where if there's a double-digit Maegashira that deserves to be 1 rank ahead of a Rikishi dropping out of the Joy, which Oshoma was in the Joy, then Oshoma would go ahead of that Rikishi that was deserved to be 1 rank ahead of him. Here, Fuji no Kawa deserves to be 2 ranks ahead of Oshoma, and he's still getting only, I mean, he still would have had a 3-rank demotion either way, even if Fuji no Kawa went ahead of him, because he would have ended up Maegashira 7 West. But to still put him ahead of Fuji no Kawa, who deserved to be 2 ranks higher than him, seems like they're kind of really, in some cases, at least against double-digit Maegashira, really increasing the weight of a Joy schedule versus a Maegashira 12, 13, 14. And we're gonna see that more on this Banzuke, where we have somebody that deserves to be 2 ranks lower than a double-digit Maegashira and ends up ahead of them. In fact, we're going to see it at Maegashira 8 East with Shodai. And Shodai is the fella
That's a dark green over there. Oh boy.
I think matches my biggest miss for a single Rikishi on a Banzuke that I've ever had.
That is 4 full ranks. Holy cow.
Yeah. So Shodai was somebody that I said had the highest variance possibility on this Banzuke. And it turns out the variance was even higher than I expected, because Shodai continues our trend. He was Maegashira 5. He had a 4-11 record. He drops 3 ranks, getting a 4-rank under demotion to end up at Maegashira 8 East. So he is also a Luck of the Banzuke candidate. And in doing so, in Shodai going at this spot, he is going ahead of 2 other Rikishi that deserved to be 2 ranks higher than him in Roga and Gonoyama. Both of those, Maegashira 11, Maegashira 13. And that's not even taking into account that he's going ahead of Toki Hayate, who deserves to be one rank ahead of him, who was a Maegashira 14. So Shodai going ahead of all three of those guys when he deserved to be ranked 2 ranks lower than a couple of them. Really surprising on this Banzuke. Does make him a luck of the Banzuke candidate. And it is kind of showing that Shodai was not really in the Joy. The Joy ended at Maegashira 5 East with Yoshi no Fuji. That's the top 16 Rikishi. Yoshi no Fuji, he's the last guy that fought both of the Yokozuna. Shodai was at Maegashira 5 West, just one step away from him. But if you look at Shodai's schedule, first 12 days, he's fighting only Maegashira, and then on days 13, 14, he gets a Sekiwake, he gets a Komosubi, and then he's back to a Maegashira on day 15. Maybe they're taking into account Shodai's just the fact that he fought 2 Sanyaku Rikishi, and like, all right, we're gonna give him the benefit of having a Joy schedule, but Shodai fought a significantly easier schedule than somebody like Yoshi no Fuji or Oshoma, but he's getting the benefit of going ahead of somebody or 2 people that deserve to be 2 ranks higher than him. So really interesting that Shodai is getting that treatment. And we're going to see later on down the line some other people not getting that treatment that weren't really ranked all that far away from Shodai. But we'll get to that in a moment.
That's really frustrating.
It is really frustrating.
I want here's something.
Yeah.
Hiradumi, Oshoma, Shodai all went 4-11 from 3, 4, 5, and they ended up 6, 7, 8. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's any credence to the idea that they would be just keeping them like, well, we gave Oshoma only 3 ranks, so we should give Shodai a demotion of only 3 ranks?
I don't think so, because we've seen in previous Banzukes where somebody will get like 9 and 6 record and they're dropping like 1 rank or 2 ranks, and then somebody just like a rank below them with a 9 and 6 record, they're dropping like the full 3 or maybe even 4, getting over demoted or something like that. It's just kind of the circumstances for that spot of the Banzuke, what is needed to fill that hole. We've seen plenty of spots where different people on the different parts of the Banzuke or the same part of the Banzuke, just a rank apart, get vastly different treatment just because the circumstances can change so much for who you can put in certain scenarios.
Sure.
It could play a role in that, but I think it's probably more that I think they just viewed Shodai having fought a couple of Sanyaku Rikishi, just being the 17th guy right outside the Joy. I feel like Maegashira 5 is kind of getting a little bit of Joy bias, a little bit, or at least tier bias. They're in like the top third of the Maegashira tier, and so they get maybe a little bit of bias over guys that are in the bottom third of the Maegashira tier.
Got it. Fair enough.
But also, who knows?
It's frustrating that it always boils down to that.
Yeah. Then on the west side, we've got Keen Bozan, I think for the 3rd consecutive Basho is going to be Maegashira 8 West. He had a 7 and 8 record. And yes, this will be the third consecutive Basho, and actually the 4th out of 5 Basho, where Keen Bozan is going to be ranked Maegashira 8 West. So he's getting pretty dang comfortable at this spot. So he had a 7 and 8 record for the 2nd consecutive Basho, and was once again in a situation where it made more sense to keep him there than to give him any sort of bounce down the Banzuke. So Keen Bozan staying put at Maegashira 8 West.
That's funny. He was there a year and a half ago as well. He must have just decided that's what he likes.
It's his favorite spot. Is that where he got the Junyu show? No, he was all the way down at Maegashira 14 for that. Then at Maegashira 9 on the east side, this is where we've got Gonoyama. So Gonoyama is who I had at Maegashira 8 East, replacing Shodai, because I didn't think Shodai was going to go ahead of somebody that deserved to be 2 ranks higher than him. So I've got Gonoyama as a snub of the Banzuke, going behind Shodai here. He is rising up 4 ranks after a 9-6 record from Maegashira 13. And then at Maegashira 9 West, we have Roga. Roga is rising up 2 ranks after an 8-7 record from Maegashira 11. I also have him as a snub of the Banzuke because he is also being jumped by Shodai, who deserved to be 2 ranks lower than him and was barely fought any Joy Rikishi, not even an Ozeki or a Yokozuna, just a lowly Sekiwake and Komosubi.
That's just the token nonsense decision that there's at least one of every single Banzuke.
Yep. Then we get to our double-digit Maegashira, the guys that are going to be screwed if they get a good record next time, and they're within
Apparently
4 or 5 ranks of a Maegashira 3 that had 1 win.
Yeah, Ichi Yamamoto from Maegashira 1 is going to go 1-14, and he's going to fall to like Maegashira 5.
Yeah, exactly. In favor of Toki Hayate at Maegashira 10 East.
Who goes 15-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
But yes, we do have here Toki Hayate, Maegashira 10 East, at his career high rank, rising up 4 spots after a 9-6 record from Maegashira 14. And then at Maegashira 10, we have Koto Shoho staying put after his 7-8 record. Because once again, just makes it easier. There was nobody that deserved to be ranked higher or the same rank as Koto Shoho as we're trying to fill out these spots. Then after that, we have Maegashira 11 on the east side, Chiyo Shoma, rising up how many ranks? 6 ranks after a 10-5 record for Chiyo Shoma. On the west side, we've got Nishiki Fuji. He is rising up 4 ranks after a 9-6 record from Maegashira 15. Then at Maegashira 12, on the east side, we've got Midori Fuji dropping down 3 ranks after a 6-9 record from Maegashira 9. On the west side, we have Abi dropping down 5 ranks after a 5-10 record from Maegashira 7. And at Maegashira 13 on the east side, we have Tobizaru dropping down 4 ranks after a 6-9 record from Maegashira 9. So Tobizaru, there was always somebody in this scenario that was going to get massively snubbed, and it turns out it was Tobizaru. Because the reason I went through this group so quickly is because I want to talk about them all as a group, and you can clearly see there's a lot of color in this section of the Banzuke.
A lot of consequences of that Shodai thing.
Yes, so I hemmed and hawed a lot. This was my main sticking point of this Banzuke, and as always happens, I completely effed it up. I overthought it, and I completely effed it up. But what ended up happening is we had 6 Rikishi, Shodai, Chiyo Shoma, Nishiki Fuji, Midori Fuji, Abi, Tobizaru, who all, based on the math, deserve to be ranked Maegashira 12. Some on the east, some on the west-hand side. Why does it keep happening? Have I always said west?
I didn't even catch it that time. I'm just going to say that anytime there's a direction involved. Oh, yeah, that water bottle, it's on the up-hand side of the fridge. Let me go grab that. Or let me go grab my phone charger. It's on the down-hand side of the bed.
Yeah, I live in Iowa. It's in the Midwest hand side of the country.
Of the Mississippi River, I guess.
Yeah. It's on the west side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So these 6 Rikishi all deserve to be the same rank, and that's very rare. I think that's the first time I've seen one rank that has like 6 different Rikishi that all deserve to be that same numerical rank. So it was tough to figure out how were these guys all going to shake out, and how the Banzuke committee did it is like, all right, Shodai, Maegashira 5, he's in another tier of scheduling. We're just going to say he goes ahead of everybody else, despite the fact that if we did the typical normal math tiebreakers, Shodai would deserve to be the last one ranked of all of these. He was on the west side, not the west-hand side, the west side. And he had the worst record of anybody in this group. So if we had gone with old typical tiebreaker rules, Shodai would deserve to be ranked lower than everybody else in this group of 6. He ends up going the highest because of his rank, I assume because of his schedule. And then after that, then it goes mostly by what the math would dictate. Chiyoshima, Nishiki Fuji, both of these guys were on the east side, so they both went ahead of. And Midori Fuji was also on the east side, but Chiyoshima and Nishiki Fuji had better records than Midori Fuji, so they went ahead of Midori Fuji. Then Midori Fuji goes next. He was on the east side, so he goes ahead of the 2 other Rikishi, Abi and Tobizaru, that were on the west. And then you get a little bit of a shakeup. Abi would normally go behind Tobizaru. He had the worst record. They were both on the same side. But for some reason, Abi goes ahead of Tobizaru here, and Tobizaru gets the short end of the stick. He ends up at Maegashira 13 being the one to get the over demotion. The way I had looked at it for my final Banzuke prediction is I had trouble separating Shodai, Abi, Midori Fuji, Tobizaru. I thought all of them would get preferential treatment over these double-digit Maegashira and Chiyoshima and Nishiki Fuji, especially how deep they were coming from. We got Chiyoshima's Maegashira 17, Nishiki Fuji, Maegashira 15. I thought all 4 of those guys would get treatment over those guys. Obviously, that is not the case, and what really makes me upset is this is the order, with the exception of Abi and Tobizaru, this is the order I had them in my first draft. Oh. I had Shodai not at Maegashira 8 East, but I had him at Maegashira 9 West. That's where most people thought this conundrum was going to start. We didn't think it was going to start at Maegashira 8 East. But I had Shodai followed by... Oh, and that also included me knowing that Shodai would jump ahead of Toki Hayate, who deserved to be 1 rank ahead of him, whereas everybody else in that group of Maegashira 12 that deserved to be Maegashira 12, none of them got to go ahead of Toki Hayate. And then I had Chiyoshima, Nishiki Fuji, Midori Fuji, Tobizaru, then Abi. So that I was so close to getting this a lot more right than I did. I would have ended up with Toki Hayate, Chiyoshima, Nishiki Fuji, and Midori Fuji, all perfect predictions. Instead, I'm getting no points from any of those guys.
Right, because you get like a point for it being right, and then like a half point for being at the right rank but the wrong side.
2
or something?
Points for correct numerical rank and correct side. 1 point for correct numerical rank, wrong side.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, I had it. My first gut instinct was correct, and then I do what I always do, and I overthought the situation. And that is, I am officially going with my first draft next time. I'm going to do my first draft. I'm going to do a write-up for it, because I just like having that, especially for the purposes of recording a podcast and remembering all of my reasoning and stuff, or why I did stuff. So probably end up kind of being 2 drafts, because I'll probably move stuff around as I'm writing things, and that'll probably still mess me up. But I'm going to try to stick with my gut instinct on the next one, because overthinking it has not been helping me very much recently.
Exactly.
But luckily, the next couple of ranks was so simple that it was impossible for me to overthink them. So we get to Maegashira 13 on the west side with Tomo. Now I
really got
have
in your
to
head
fight
there.
myself from saying west hand side, and I
so
don't
weird.
know why.
We
have I
listen
said this
back
on previous episodes?
I don't know. I don't know if you said it before I caught it, but I let it go one time before I said anything. But you said it the second time like a minute later, and that's when I had to point it out to be a little,
and
just
I
to be a little shit.
appreciate it, because I would have kept on saying it at least 10 more times.
Apparently, it's in your head. Yeah. Yeah, we got to listen back to a couple episodes, see if it's something that you say or if it's just something that you're now overthinking, like your third draft of your Banzukes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might be a bit of a head case. All right. So we have Tomokaze rising.
Look at Mr. Not as neurotypical as he thought over here.
Trust me, I know where I deviate from the norm there.
We aren't exactly mystery boxes.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Got Tomokaze dropping down 1 rank after a 7-8 record from Maegashira 12. We're just going to rattle through these next few. No, nothing really to discuss here. This was how everybody knew it was going to happen on the Banzuke, and the Banzuke committee just went with it. Maegashira 14 on the East, we have Shishi dropping 3 ranks after a 6-9 record from Maegashira 11. On the West side, we've got Mitakeyumi dropping, 1 rank? Yeah, 1 rank after a 7-8 record from Maegashira 13. Maegashira 15, we have Ryuden dropping 1 rank after a 7-8 record from Maegashira 14. And we have Asakoryu rising up 2 ranks after an 8-7 record from Maegashira 17. Then at Maegashira 16, we're finally getting our first Juryo Rikishi on the Banzuke. Pointed out on the preview episode that Maegashira 16 is pretty low for our first Juryo Rikishi to be placed. We've been typically seeing 13, 14 in the past few years, honestly. So I think just circumstantial that it ended up at Maegashira 16 this time.
You're not saying the rules are any different. You're just saying that following the same rules resulted in this being this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So Maegashira 16 on the East side, we do have making his 3rd stint in the top division. Former Ozeki Asanoyama is back in the top division. The last time he was in the top division after his return from suspension, it was just injury riddled, could not stay healthy, which eventually led to him tearing his ACL, which knocked him back out for 6 months, and now he's back after that. So Asanoyama, probably the first guy to ever drop down to Sandanme twice and make it back to Makuuchi both times.
Very cursed career. I mean, granted, the first big issue was his own fault, but still a very cursed career overall.
Mm-hmm. Then at Maegashira 16 on the West side, we have another Luck of the Banzuke candidate. We have Oshoumi, who is staying put after a 7-8 record from the same. Oh, no, never mind. He's dropping down a half rank. He's dropping down a half rank after a 7-8 record. He was Maegashira 16 East in the previous Basho, Maegashira 16 West now. That's a little bit surprising to me because we did have 2 Juryo Rikishi that deserve to be ranked higher than him, with one deserving to be ranked 2 ranks higher than Oshoumi. So a little bit surprising that he's staying ahead of those Juryo Rikishi, despite deserving to be 2 ranks lower than them. Because our rule had always been, in order to make sure that a Juryo Rikishi went ahead of a Maegashira, they had to deserve to be ranked 2 ranks higher than that Maegashira. And Asahakuryu fit that bill perfectly. 10-5 from Juryo 2, so it's not like he's coming from deep Juryo or anything like that. Deserves to be at least 2 ranks higher than Oshoumi. It's a little bit fuzzy because we're going from Maegashira 18 to Maegashira 17 this time. So depending on how you look at it, 3 ranks higher than Oshoumi deserves to go, or 2 ranks higher than
either
Oshoumi.
2 or 3, not either 1 or 2.
1 or 2, yes.
Yeah, got it.
So the fact that Asahakuryu didn't go ahead of Oshoumi here, little bit surprising, but Asahakuryu does come in at Maegashira 17 on the East side, making his Makuuchi debut, rising up only 2 ranks after a 10-5 record from Juryo 2. And maybe the Banzuke committee just that's too many Asas in a row. We can't have 3 Asas from the same stable in a row.
It's just inappropriate.
Maybe it just makes scheduling too difficult for them in the early part of the tournament, having 3 people from the same stable right next to each other. So we'll just put Oshoumi in there.
I love that implication. It's like, that's going to be work for me later. I don't want to do that. Just split them up. I don't care.
And then our final Rikishi on the Banzuke is going to be Hatsu Yama, making his top division debut as well, rising up 5 ranks after an 11-4 record from Juryo 5. So that is our Banzuke for the beginning of the year, highlighted by brand new Ozeki Aonishiki.
Oh, I thought you were going to say highlighted by some really dark colors.
Unfortunately, yes.
That Shodai is like, oh man, it's
awful.
Maybe you were just getting in the spirit of Christmas. You wanted some darker greens and reds on your Banzuke.
Yeah, exactly. Just because Christmas Day has passed doesn't mean we're still not in the Christmas spirit.
You're right. Christmas spirit lasts until I finally have enough time to take down the decorations.
Which is January 1st. Well,
if we're lucky.
In a sane household with only one child to take care of.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, sit on the couch and watch her tablet and stay out of the way.
What are you doing this weekend? I could really use a hand.
I don't know. We might be open.
I hope we don't get an ice storm so you can actually drive over here. That would be swell.
Yes. We had 3 Rikishi jump up from Juryo to the top division in Asanoyama, Asahakuryu, and Hatsuyama, which means we did have to send 3 Rikishi from Makuuchi down to Juryo, those being Shona Naomi, Sada Naomi, and Meisei. So, looking at my Banzuke, how did I do at Guess the Banzuke? You can tell from the visual, not that great. So I got 22 bullseyes out of a possible 42. So that's 52%, which is well short of my previous best percentage of 76% perfect predictions. I did get an additional 8 at the correct rank, but on the wrong side. So I did have 30 at the correct rank. I like being at least 30. So that's 71% at the correct rank. But once again, still way short of my previous best of 88% at the correct rank. First place did have 38 Rikishi at the correct rank. So I was well off the pace here. So what did that result in? I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. Only 105th. But out of 366 entrants, it gives me a 9-6 equivalent, so a winning record. That's something nice to hang my hat on.
Well within the top third.
Yeah. If I had stuck with my first draft of the whole 6 Rikishi that deserved to be Maegashira 12, that's even accounting for me just getting Shodai wrong, because I would have had Shodai at Maegashira 9 West, not having Abi and Tobizaru at the right spots. Even with that, I would have finished top 20 if I went with my first draft of that situation.
Oh, man, that's brutal.
Huge blunder by me to completely mess that up. But that being said, do move up from number 26 to number 24 overall in the Guess the Banzuke standings. We're slowly working our way back into the top 10. Don't know if we're going to sniff the number 1 spot that I held for... I don't know. I probably held that for cumulatively a year previously.
It was a while. Yeah, you absolutely dialed in before they switched Banzuke riders.
I know.
That's tragic.
It is.
Real Asanoyama of a career you've got going there.
Oh, God. Do want to shout out a couple people in our Discord that are absolutely kicking ass right now. Somebody that is completely dialed in. Leonard from the Tachi blog. He's in our Discord. He is number 1 overall in Guess the Banzuke again for him. He was 3rd overall this Basho. He's been absolutely knocking it out of the park with his predictions recently. We've also got another member of the Guess the Banzuke top 10 in our Discord server. Hisui is at number 6 overall. So those guys have been absolutely killing it recently. Looking at some stats on the Banzuke, our biggest jumps and drops on the Banzuke, not a whole lot of big movement on this one, because a lot of like our 4 and 11s really got
super lucky,
and then all of the horrible records with Shona Naomi 3 and 12 and Meisei 1 and 14, they're going down to Juryo. So our biggest jumps up the Banzuke, Chiyoshoma moving up 6 ranks after a we've got 2 Rikishi jumping up 6 ranks, Chiyoshoma and Daisho. Both with 10 and 5 records, getting a 1 rank over promotion. So those are biggest jumps up the Banzuke, because once again, our best winning records were at the top of the Banzuke, where there's no more room to rise. Our biggest drop down the Banzuke, Abi, dropping down 5 ranks. I'm pretty sure it's Abi.
I wouldn't have guessed that. That's
if you're excluding the drop from Makuuchi to Juryo, I'm pretty sure it's Abi had the biggest drop down the Banzuke. Yeah, because
all those guys with 4 and 11 only went down 3.
Yeah.
I'm really
I looked
mad
it over
about that
yesterday. I tried to find somebody who dropped further, but no, I'm pretty sure it's just Abi.
That's really frustrating somehow.
Yeah. We've got 5 Rikishi that are going to be at their career high rank. Aonishiki at Ozeki, Ichi Yamamoto, Yoshi no Fuji, both at Maegashira 1, Fuji no Kawa at Maegashira 7, and Toki Hayate at Maegashira 10. We have 2 additional Rikishi that will be making their top division debut. Both of our Maegashira 17 Rikishi, Asahakuryu and Hatsu Yama. So, Jake, it's time for us to decide our snub and luck of the Banzuke winners. Start with snub of the Banzuke. We've got Gono-Yama. I had him, and I think a lot of people had him going around Maegashira 8 East, ends up Maegashira 9 East, and the reason he ends up a full rank below where we thought he would is because Shodai, not having a full Joy schedule, getting to go ahead of Gono-Yama, who deserved to be 2 ranks higher than Shodai. So that's Gono-Yama. Roga's pretty much the same story, but most people would have had him at Maegashira 9 East, so he's not getting pushed back quite as far as Gono-Yama. And then also Tobizaru. He just ended up on the unlucky side of the Maegashira 12 quagmire, ended up being the one getting the over demotion, and especially because it was in favor of Abi, who Tobizaru, with our typical tiebreaker rules, would deserve to go ahead of.
I'm gonna vote Tobizaru real hard here.
Okay.
The other factor is that he is 5 ranks below a guy that he should be tied with. And him and Shodai both deserve to be 12, and just because Shodai getting, I do even. How about luck of the Banzuke? Let's talk about who got the second most luck of the Banzuke.
Yeah, it's clearly it's Shodai.
Of course it is, but like 5 ranks different for Tobizaru, that has got to sting.
Yeah,
that's man. And Shodai, like those 2 matches, is that really what did it? That's so nuts to me.
I think so.
I can't think of any other reason.
Yeah.
Man.
I think that's got to be it.
What do you think? Tobizaru or somebody else?
I'm good with Tobizaru. I think I was originally thinking Gono-Yama, but when you put it in the context of he's 5 ranks lower than somebody.
He might not even face Shodai this spot show.
Yeah, than somebody he deserves to be higher than Shodai. I guess we got to kind of throw our typical tiebreaker rules out the window with this kind of current Banzuke committee. But just based on the normal tiebreaker rules that we had used for a long time, Shodai deserved to go behind Tobizaru. And Tobizaru ends up 5 ranks lower than Shodai. So yeah, I'm with you on the Tobizaru, the snub of the Banzuke for this Ba show.
All right,
luck of the
who's our
Banzuke,
second luckiest?
probably Oshoma. He got to go. He was the other guy who got to go ahead of somebody that deserved to be 2 ranks higher than him.
Yeah, and then the other one that you mentioned, Oshomi, for like kinda no reason, just gets to be 2 slots higher.
Yeah,
just because it's Juryo guys.
And I had originally, when I made him a snub of the Banzuke candidate, I was thinking that Oshomi stayed in place. I forgot that he slid over from Maegashira 16 East to West.
Oh, so yeah, but still.
But still, yeah, he still should have gone behind Asahakuryu, but... So yeah, absolutely. Shodai, luck of the Banzuke, Tobizaru, snub of the Banzuke. So, coming up, we've got the GSP award show is still coming. Will hopefully be out. Something you can listen to as the clock ticks down going into the new year. We're going to cross our fingers and hope that we can get it done by then. So we've got that. We've got our preview that's going to be coming out at the beginning of next week as well. And time, depending on if we can all get together, we also need to do our 2026 year-long predictions.
Yeah.
Fight for the right for who will get to open and close the show every episode.
That's right. My reign of terror of going out. Wait, have we revealed who's won for 2026?
No,
or is
that will be revealed on the award show. Gotcha.
Okay. Because yeah, I kind of want to look ahead and spoil that, because that I didn't realize how much that my mood depended on still being ahead of Ryan. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
we'll sort it out on the award show.
Other stuff coming up. Go renew your United States Sumo Federation membership. You're free to renew for 2026 anytime. In the past, you kind of had to wait until January to renew for the new year. don't worry about that. Just go buy it. If you're already a member, your membership will just roll into 2026. And make sure to do that so that you can vote for me to be the next USSF president. That election happens at the national tournament in March.
Yep. Everybody vote Jake. Also, so if you're guaranteed award show, guaranteed preview. If you're lucky, 2026 year-long predictions. We're going to do it. It's just if we're going to be able to get it out before the Basho releases. And
we
if
at
you're
least need to like decide the picks before the Basho.
And if you're super duper lucky and we're really on our stuff and we have time, might get a news update from what happened in December out.
I think this is an okay time to be a little bit behind here. But yeah, the normal schedule, we try to get those news episodes out roughly the same time as the Banzuke episodes, but who knows what'll happen this time.
We'll see. Depends on how on our stuff we are.
I guess hopefully not for the last time, let me say. Until next time, keep moving. I completely forgot the thing now. I'm flaricking.
You've been doing it for a year, Jake.
I know. And now my audition for the next year is I'm blowing it.
Going poorly.
Until next time, throw your salt high and keep moving forward.